I'm Luke Summerhays, and I love Klink. Cogs and gears have been made by humans for somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 years, with ancient examples unearthed by archaeologists and even earlier mentions in writings. From large wooden or stone constructs for mills, to complex mechanisms for calculating and predicting the movement of stars, all the way to modern engines and electrical devices, they remain the most efficient way to transfer movement between objects. As two separate moving parts, gears have never developed as part of living creatures, though small plant-hopper insects do have cogs between their two legs, which keep their movements in sync for powerful jumps. And in the earliest origin of the Transformers, from the 1980s comic books, machine life on Cybertron was said to have evolved from, quote, naturally occurring cogs and gears. Klink is a Steel-type Pokemon, which resembles two cogwheels forming a gear, each with a comical face of two eyes, a mouth, and a round nose. Pokemon Shield tells us, "It's suspected that Klink were the inspiration behind ancient people's invention of the first gears." Unlike Pokemon such as Magneton, which are made of multiple previously individual monsters, Klink's initial two cogwheels have always been a bonded pair. Pokemon Black tells us, "The two mini-gears that mesh together are predetermined. Each will rebound from other mini-gears without meshing." And Pokemon Sword says, "The two mini-gears that compose this Pokemon are closer than twins. They mesh well only with each other." The two wheels are spinning in unison, and it's unclear which is turning the other. Pokemon White says, "Interlocking two bodies and spinning around generates the energy they need to live." Of course, one wheel turning another, which is itself turning the first one, is a bootstrap paradox, and would not really function as a perpetual motion machine. In real life, gears are used to convert the pumping motion of, say, a steam engine into the spinning motion needed to make a train's wheels turn, or to generate electricity. Something else has to make them move. The name, Klink, is an onomatopoeia for metal striking. The Japanese name is gyaru, literally just a Japanese pronunciation of the word gear. A simple cogwheel can pass movement to another, and another, and another again, until these gears become incredibly complex devices. This process continues along that path when, at level 38, Klink evolves into Klang. Klang has expanded, and though one of the cogwheels looks the same, now the other one turns a much larger wheel. Black 2 and White 2 tell us, "A mini-gear and big gear comprise its body. If the mini-gear it launches at a foe doesn't return, it will die." Of course, it is true that removing just one cog from a gear will cause the whole mechanism to cease to function. Pokemon Black tells us, "By changing the direction in which it rotates, it communicates its feelings to others. When angry, it rotates faster." Klang's name, of course, is a slightly heavier onomatopoeia than Klink. The Japanese name, Gigiru, makes this a giga-gear. Pokemon Sword tells us, "When Klang goes all out, the mini-gear links up perfectly with the outer part of the big gear, and this Pokemon's rotation speed increases sharply." And Pokemon Shield says, "Many companies in the Galar region choose Klang as their logo. This Pokemon is considered the symbol of industrial technology." Much of Galar reflects the impacts of the real-life Industrial Revolution in England, in which many leaps in the production and use of cogs and gears were made. The thing about this kind of progress, though, is that once it starts, it doesn't stop. Subsequently, at level 49, Klang evolves into Klinklang. Klinklang has expanded further, with the vertical gears now spinning a horizontal ring of spikes. On the underside, just barely visible, is a red section. Pokemon Black tells us, its red core functions as an energy tank. It fires the charged energy through its spikes into an area. And Pokemon White tells us, the gear with the red core is rotated at high speed for a rapid energy change. The name, Klinklang, combines the two previous noises, Klink and Klang, to make a cacophony of metallic noise. The Japanese name is Gigigilu, with the first syllable repeating again and again as new cogs are added to the gear. Welcome back to Does Andy Remember Gen 5 Pokemon?
And if so, does he have any thoughts about them?
Klink.
Oh, I've got a lot of time for Klink. Obviously I picked because of the sound, but when I discovered it was Gears, I'm alright with it.
At the time, well,
I like Gears.
Do you know the names of its evolutions?
Something like Klinklang or something.
Yeah, it's Klink, and then Klang, and then Klinklang.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's it. They're all nice sounds.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that
Klink
at the time.
I like Klink more as a, champagne thing, but if I had to pick the next best thing, yeah, Gears. Why not?
No, with you being a bit Cockney, I thought it would be like, oh yeah, chuck 'em in the Klink.
No, I'm not actually Cockney. I just ended up doing this accent.
Pokemon Sword tells us, from its spikes, it launches powerful blasts of electricity. Its red core contains an enormous amount of energy. Despite this, the Pokemon remains a pure Steel type. Steel is traditionally a sturdy type defensively, but it tends to lack in especially damaging moves. Those moves that do deal damage tend to have setbacks like low accuracy. Klinklang and family have a unique move, Year Grind, which makes up for middling damage by hitting twice. Combined with a boosting move like Gear Up, Klinklang is an unusually strong attacker for the underserved Steel type. Pokemon Shield tells us, the three gears that compose this Pokemon spin at high speed. Its new spiked gear isn't a living creature. This is an odd comment. Is it stolen from elsewhere and wielded as a weapon? Does this imply the other new gears added as this Pokemon evolves are living creatures, like other Klink and Klang pressed into service? Would it be so unusual, in a world with naturally occurring cogs and gears, to also have a naturally occurring wheel of spikes? Original music for Luke Loves Pokemon is by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork is by Katie Groves. Klink and family were designed by Keiko Moritsugu. Funding is provided by listeners at patreon.com/podcastiopodcastius. For just $1 a month, supporters can listen to episodes a week early and also help cover hosting and fees, making it possible for me to keep making episodes every week. I love hearing from listeners. Get in touch about upcoming Pokemon on Twitter or Facebook at LukeLovesPKMN. Drop a comment if you're watching the video, or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Coming up are Tynamo and Elgyem, so please get in touch about those or any other monsters. Even if you don't feel like doing any of that, thank you so much just for listening. I love Klink, and remember, I love you too.